Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing Love in Paradise, doing it real quick this time. So yeah, we're going to do Love in Paradise today, but before we do, I am going to do some hot goss. So, Golden Bachelor. So it looks like we might be seeing a familiar face. Now it's only being predicted. We don't know for sure. But Reality Steve is predicting that Mark, who is Kelsey's dad, if you remember, is potentially going to be on Joan's season of the Golden Bachelorette. And of course, if he goes far along but doesn't get picked, he could become the next Golden Bachelor. Who knows? So it's interesting because we actually saw what's his face, Jesse, tell Mark, you should be our next Golden Bachelor, if you remember that. So that's would be interesting, but I definitely agree with this. I think we could be seeing him on the Golden Bachelorette. I think it would be a disservice if we didn't. But that's that. Let's move on to the next one. Do you remember Omar and Avery? Omar was supposed to be becoming an American citizen actually this month. Not him, sorry. So Avery actually announced the big news by sharing a video titled "Come With Us for Omar to Become a U.S. Citizen" in a video she posted on something. During the drive to the interview venue, Avery revealed that Omar needed to pass a test, a citizenship test. Is that typical though? Isn't that what usually happens? I'm not sure. Anyway. However, it was a minor hurdle for him, as the following clip captured him saying, "I passed the test." So, following the passing of the test, he was able to take the oath of allegiance, and he is now an American citizen. So, congrats to Omar becoming a citizen. That's awesome. But that's it for hot goss. Let's move into the episode. So, Love in Paradise, Season 4, Episode 8. No one likes a shady beach, or likes a shady beach. There we go. Alliya and Shawn are first. So, we are getting our hair braided. Alliya is. And it will take about 8 hours. So, Jackie is also here to keep her company and to stir shit up. So Jackie's like, he was annoyed, wasn't he, with all the questions? I had no shit, girl. Yeah, he was. So, how is it with him though? Like, how about sex? Like, how's the sex and stuff? Like, been since he's been back? And is here we find out from Alliya that they haven't had sex since he's been back in Brazil. And I think everyone collectively is like, wait, what? Why? And she says, I need to talk to him first, because I think she's kind of saying that it's interesting. She's saying that she doesn't feel comfortable having sex with him right now due to kind of what she knows and what we're about to find out. But we'll also get an explanation from him as to where he is at as well, which isn't necessarily great, but here we go. She mentions because they're in an open relationship, and how the open relationship even came about is because it was about a year ago. I guess she ended up looking on his phone, saw a dating app on his phone, probably Grindr, or maybe, he doesn't label himself, but it's most likely Grindr. Saw it on the app on his phone, and that is basically how she found out that they're in quote unquote an open relationship. Now, Jackie, like everyone else, is basically thinking, no, honey, no. You caught him cheating. And now he's trying to justify by saying, I didn't know we were exclusive. I'm in an open relationship. That's him gaslighting you. What the fuck? No. Listen, he justifies himself again with this is concerned in a minute, but I don't care the circumstances of your relationship. You don't go into a relationship just open. I mean, some do, I'm sure, but you need to actually have a conversation about that. There may be people who don't want to do that. Look at Alex and Adriano. You know what I mean? So it's absolutely ridiculous that he would think that this is what you do. So, yeah, it's kind of bullshit. But anyway, yeah, but she says that she doesn't want to be in an open relationship. That she wants to be monogamous. But it's here she says that, well, actually, she kind of says that and he kind of fills it in too. But here she says that he didn't want to be in a monogamous relationship because they weren't dating in the conventional sense. That she lives in Brazil, he's in the States. They're not together all the time. Basically, he just needs to get his dick wet. So, you know what I mean? Like, ugh, it's, all of this is so fucked. But she says, like she says here, I felt lied to by finding the app and all of this. And that's exactly what happened. Follow your instinct. You were lied to. You were being cheated on. And he, like, gaslit his way through fixing the situation. And you allowed it. Now, I know she's only 25, but, like, still. I feel like at 24, 25, like, I was still having some sense in my head to know when someone is fucking with me, you know? But, I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, it's here that Jackie says, like, he was caught cheating. And Jackie thinks that the power dynamics are one-sided, which it's interesting because I think it's in this scene that they show the previous scene where she's like, I don't want to be controlled by you when I live in the States and all of this, right? We kind of seeing that now, to me anyways, I'm seeing that in a different light. Now, after hearing this, it, at the very least, the power dynamics are shifted, but more so than anything, like, I don't want to keep using the word gaslight, but that is what happened here. And is it because of the power dynamics and his control or whatever that he was able to achieve this? Because we will see later what he says about the differences between Alliya and Douglas yet again. And it actually, with all of this, along with that, makes this feel way grosser than it was initially. So now we're back at the apartment and she's asking him to help and get her hair up so she can sleep. She talks to him about the open relationship, or is trying to anyways, kind of get to the point that she wants to make, which is, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be monogamous, right? She's like, are we continuing this open relationship when we are married and we are living together? Because now your reasons for having an open relationship are no longer there. So you would need to keep doing that, right? Well, he's like, well, I needed it because, you know, we weren't living in the same country. You know, it just didn't make sense to me. You needed it? Like, are you that much of a sex fiend? Which, no hatred on that, like, whatever. But are you so much like that that you can't control yourself because you've been in this relationship with her for 3 years, but he does say, which I kind of understand, but at some point it has to come to an end. But he says that they did meet when COVID was ramping up, no travel was possible. So I guess, I mean, I don't know exactly what year this is, right? I guess it would potentially have been last year. So let's say that he started dating in 2020. Understandable. But once you were able to start traveling again, then where is the line? You know what I mean? Because now you've met, well, at the time, Douglas, you met them, like, when do you stop? And he says, like, in the first 2 years, we didn't discuss being exclusive. And I think it's, only came up due to her finding the dating app. But I feel like if you're in a relationship with somebody, if you're so to a point in a relationship with somebody that you propose to them with their favorite star, then you're pretty exclusive, don't you think? That's just me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, either that, Douglas reluctantly agreed to be open, but I couldn't be alone for 8 months of the year. My love language is touch, Okay, so number one, you literally admit here that he reluctant Douglas. I'm referring to Douglas here because it was a year ago. Alliya was still Douglas at the time, or maybe I was, you know what? Forget it. Scratch that. Alliya, you admit, reluctantly agreed to do the open relationship. You admit that. So you know she's uncomfortable with this. Number two, you then have to justify your wholeness. Because let's be real here. I don't care if you want to be a hoe when you're not in a relationship, or you want to be a hoe in your relationship, because you can be a hoe in your relationship. It's fine. I don't care. Like, with the person you're in a relationship with. Let me trust that. I don't care. But when you're being a hoe in your relationship outside of with someone else, then you got a problem here. And you want to justify your wholeness by saying, my love language is touch. So, 8 months without being touched is a problem. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Because guess what? While you are not handling not being touched for 8 months, she isn't. She's being faithful to you. Meanwhile, you're not being faithful to her. Because she says, like, she doesn't partake in the open part of this relationship. So this isn't for her. This is for you. And I want her to stand up for herself and say, no, I don't want this. And if you can't accept this, then there is no relationship. Like, honestly, I want her to do, but I think she's still not comfortable in herself, generally speaking, to even do that. But like, he's fucking with her. He's fucking with her and she's letting him. That's what's sad. So, he says that if they haven't, like, he wasn't being able to have sex or whatever, like, they wouldn't have gotten to this point. Again, just justifying. He does say, like, I do wonder, like, are you different because of you being Alliya and whatever? Oh, sorry, no, the refresh. She said, like, are you different with me because I'm Alliya? And he says, it's not that I don't find you attractive. I don't think you might find her attractive in the sense of anyone can look at someone and find them attractive. But do you want to rip her clothes off? No, he doesn't. He literally said this before he went to Brazil, that he's, since his divorce from his wife, he's been predominantly with men. he is not sexually attracted to her. But yeah, he says that it's not that I'm not attracted to you, it's not that I don't love you, but I feel sexually, I need to feel like the man in a relationship. So I guess we can solidify here he's a top, but that's just me. I don't know, maybe I'm incorrect here. But based on a lot of the shit he says here, I'm gonna say that. But he needs to feel that way. But if you already are, in all sense of the relationship, whether sexually, emotionally, physically, all of it, the man in the relationship, what's the problem? It has nothing to do with whether or not he feels like a man in a relationship. It has everything to do with the fact that he wants her to basically shut up. That's what he wants. So because he says, listen, I don't find your attitude attractive, right? It's like, if I can feel like I can be the man, right? Then I can handle your persona. Your persona? You're a persona. And she says, persona. And that's an odd word to use to describe someone who has transitioned. Persona. And he's like, well, your persona's a little more bossy than it used to be, You know, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like a woman taking control of her life. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like it because he preferred, again, he's talking about Douglas being that shy, timid, scared. And that's what got him off. Let me rephrase. I don't know how to rephrase. Let me say it again. What got Shawn off, what got him to just fuck her, or really and truly Douglas, because he hasn't fucked Alliya, fuck Douglas. But what got him to have sex with Douglas was the fact that Douglas was so shy and timid. Let me stop there. That alone is gross because it feels like, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to take it dark, so just trigger warning for what I'm about to say. It feels a very adult, younger person, I'll say that, type of dynamic. That he just kind of wants someone to shut up and take it. And who better than someone who's younger than him, who hasn't fully figured themselves out yet. And who is like Douglas, because he, in so many words, he's preyed on Alliya at this point. He's making this very clear. He's not saying those words, but he's definitely preyed on her. Why not someone like that? And then you add the scared aspect of it. It's like, how do you get off on someone being scared? How do you sleep at night knowing you have just gotten your rocks off with someone you identify as being quote unquote scared? This man is disgusting. And Alliya needs to get out. This is so not okay. But he continues on to say, like, her attitude, it's not sweet. He's like, you can be a boss bitch. You just can't be a boss bitch to me. Wow. So basically what he wants is he wants someone to be submissive to him. And that's everything that Alliya doesn't want. Alliya doesn't want to be submissive to him, her grandparent, anyone else, because that's what she did her entire life up until this point. So you're basically asking her to be submissive when that goes against the grain for her. And she should not go against the grain. That's made me very upset. But that's it for Shawn and Alliya for this week. Let's move on. Let's do a quick one before we go take a quick break. Let's do Annie and Kyle. Lord Jesus, here we go, guys. Actually, let's shoot out. Actually, no, let's not do Annie and Kyle. Let's do Alex and Adriano. Sorry, guys. So, Alex and Adriano. So, Alex just wants to enjoy her day. They're going to the beach. They're having arguments up the ass crack. And he agrees to having a good day. So, they're just going to enjoy each other. And we're going to meet up with his friend, Catano. This time I caught his name. You know what? He's actually a little cuter than I thought. But anyways, we're going to meet up with Catano, and Tiffany's going to show up later. So, Catano's here, and he's like, so how are things? Crickets. Crickets. And he's like, they're like, oh, well. And he's like, is it about threesomes? Is that the issue? Is it the threesomes? And Adriano's like, well, this time it's more about the religion disagreements more than anything. And Katana says, because again, he kind of reiterates the fact of she feels that love and marriage they coexist with religion, right? And Katana says, love and marriage don't go with religion. Those are two different things. And at this point, because it's not going for her, Alex is like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Fuck it. I said we were going to talk about this. We're going to have a good day. I don't want to talk about it. So we're not going to talk about it. But then here comes Tiffany. We're going to get into the water. And you know, they're having fun in the water or whatever. And then Katano and Tiffany leave them alone because she's kind of like on top of him, giving him a massage and stuff. So like, let us leave. Adriano sees these girls that are like in a group, and he sees them and he takes this opportunity to say, you know, let's go to dinner with one of them, you know, and see where the night takes us, you know. This is the problem. I'm on his side when it comes to religion. I'm on her side when it comes to the threesomes. They are not on each other's sides, though. They're not respecting each other. She's not respecting him when it comes to religion. He's not respecting her when it comes to the threesomes. Why are we in this relationship? Why are we beating a dead fucking horse with this relationship? I don't understand. She's glutton for punishment. I don't give a shit about. Well, I mean, the religion can be uncomfortable. But before religion conversation even came up, she's a glutton for fucking punishment. What is wrong with her? Anyway, she says no, obviously. He's like, one night. She's like, it's a no for me, dog. Like, what the fuck? He's like, it's a part of my life. Well, first of all, this shouldn't be a part of your life because you're supposed to be in a relationship with this girl who does not do threesomes, so it should not be a part of your life. And I'm sorry, threesomes is not something that should be a part of somebody's life. Threesomes is something that you should do maybe once, maybe twice, and then you move on. That's going on with him too. Like, anyway. And he's like, I will always ask you, which he said this to her before, and she politely asked him, please don't. And he's not respecting that. Just like you want her to accept you don't want to be a part of a religion, you need to accept that she doesn't want to do threesomes. If you can't accept that, and if she can accept you not being a part of a religion, then break the fuck up. Stop dating each other. What the fuck? So, she says he's not respecting me. Again, why are you with him? And my boundaries. Again, why are you with him? She's like, listen, you got two options. Number one, either you let it go, or you know what you need to do. No, Alex, you know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. Why are you letting him take the lead here on whether or not you stay together? You need to take the lead and say, fuck it. You're not aligning with my religious beliefs. You're not aligning with my sexual beliefs and my morals. So, and you're also not aligning with the fact that you would be having biracial children with me, and you can't handle the fact that a colored person is going to go through trials and tribulations. Your mom probably hates me. So let's just break up. This is it. This is done. We've tried. Just like her cousin said to her, you're never going to find the right person, or the right person's not going to come along because you're in the wrong relationship. You're spending your time and your effort in this relationship. Break up, mourn, heal, and move the fuck on with someone who's going to align with your basic beliefs. I'm not talking religion, everything. I'm so over beating this dead horse with them. It's so fucking annoying. Anyways, that's basically it for Alex and Adriano. We're going to take a tiny break here, and when we come back, we will jump in with, I'm going to do Luca and Madelein first, and end it off with Annie and Kyle. So now I have a song that I'm going to play for you, which is by SS Yoon, that's SSYOON, titled Music in Me. I did get this song from the PodSafe Music Directory on the World Podcast Network. So I'm going to put the song here, and if you're interested in listening to it, there are 2 links down on the show notes with the song from World Podcast PodSafe Music Directory, as well as a link to their Spotify. So I'm going to play it for you right now. And I am back. So let's do Luke and Madelein. So here comes Brian. And her eye roll of the century when she hears his voice, because he's like, "Hey guys," and she's like, "Ugh." But Madeleine does not want to be with Luke and Brian in this car, but they're gonna be in paradise. They're gonna go have some fun. She's gonna have to deal with these idiot guys in the meantime. So we go to the kind of this like water park obstacle thing. So they're doing that. They're having fun, whatever. And then Madeleine asks Brian, "I gotta talk to you." He's like, "Me? What did I do?" And she's like, "Why are you getting involved in my relationship?" And he's like, "Well, Madeleine, I try not to." "Do you though? Do you?" And she's like, "Well, then why did you tell Luke to get a prenup?" And he's like, "Listen, Madeleine, he expressed his issues with the money, so I told him to get a prenup." Well, that is true. He definitely did. He did. Anyway. But Brian decides now, you know what? Ain't no better time at the present to lay a bomb into this relationship. So he says, "Listen, so blank, we don't get his name, told me that he was at your place, apparently just having some sort of party, and he was in your bed, and you were lying beside him topless in the bed." Okay. So I'll get in my thoughts on what I think about this in a minute. Luke loses his shit, obviously. And he's like, "That's my apartment. I pay the rent. And you have a man in my bed?" Or, like whatever. He's like, "I don't want a man in my bed or in my apartment." And he feels like she cheated on him. I'm going to give my thoughts, like I said. He's like, "I don't know who she is. I can't even look at her." So let me say it here. Well, actually, no, I'm going to wait because she hasn't explained her part yet. So let's just continue. So, yeah. So he's like, "I lost trust in her." And Madeleine is like, "Fuck Brian," and all of this. And he's like, she's like, he's believing this bullshit. And he says, or sorry, she says, "I was having a party in my place. He helped himself to my bed. But like nothing happened. I didn't lie in his bed." So here's what I'm going to say it so I don't forget. Number one, I do believe if this person told Brian this, I do believe it. But I don't think it happened the way he's trying to say. Here's why. I think this is kind of like an Evelyn and what's that guy's name? Remember him who was friends with Corey? That guy. It's kind of like that. He probably has a crush on Madeleine, and knowing nothing's going to happen with her because she's with Luke, he's probably trying to break up the relationship. He might have helped himself to her bed, and I do believe that. But I don't think Madeleine was lying in the bed next to him, topless at that. I don't think that happened, especially if they're having a party and there's other people around. That didn't happen. So I do believe her. I don't think Ryan necessarily is lying. I think the person who gave this information is the one who's lying. It didn't happen the way he said it did. I think he's trying to blow shit up because he has a crush on Madeleine. And Luke's an idiot to believe it. Also, we don't know the extent because we're finding out that what Brian says is they were in the bed together. She was topless. That's it. Nothing else happened. Like, what else happened? Like, is there something here? Then something would have happened. She wouldn't have just been topless. Something would have happened. And that's the part that's not being said. And Luke feels cheated on. Now, if she was in a bed topless with somebody, I mean, if you can argue that would be yes. But I don't think she did. I don't think her having a party or having a man in her apartment who she may see as platonic is cheating or being disrespectful or anything like that. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but again, that's because I'm believing her story more so than anything else. I don't think it's cheating. But anyway, Brian at this point is like, well, I blew shit up, so we're gonna go. God. And Luke is kind of like, she's not acknowledging her fault here. And she's like, do I have a chance to fix it? Or sorry, no, he says, do you want a chance to fix this? And she kind of just doesn't say much. She's like, no, okay, well then I'm done. I mean, you're not even giving her a chance. You immediately went from 0 to 100, believing what Brian is telling you without having a conversation with her first, like a civilized person, to understand what's going on here. We have to remember she's 19. She's probably shutting down emotionally right now because she doesn't know how to deal with her emotions. Like, you know what I mean? So he's like, in an adult relationship, you're supposed to sympathize with your partner. Number one, he's not in an adult relationship. Let's continue. But she is not capable of doing that. She's not an adult yet. Well, legally speaking, she is, but you're not at 19. He's like, this is teenage high school drama. I want to be with a woman, not a girl. Okay. Number one, she just graduated high school, fucker. Okay. So she is still in that high school mentality. You are until you're like maybe 23, 24. And you're like, no, I'm not dealing with that anymore. She's not there yet. Okay. So there is going to be that teenage, she is a teenager, high school, she just graduated drama. And then number two, you want a woman, not a girl? Then why were you with her? No, you don't want that. You want to be with a little girl because you're gross. You know what I mean? Like, you're full of shit, Luke. You're full of shit. And honestly, you're supposed to be 30 years old. You don't act like it. So, what's with men in their 30s and acting their age? Anyway. So, she's like, sorry, I get that, he's mad. I'm sorry for that. I don't know if she really knows what it is. But he should trust me. I don't want to be with someone who is confused about me. And she says this to him. And she's like, if you don't like trust me, then why are you here? Go back to America. I mean, anyway, that's it for Luke and Madeleine. Let's end this off with a bang with Annie and Kyle. So how was last night? We ask. They had sex. Yep. It was romantic, they say. He says it was different because he wasn't trying to get her pregnant. They made love. Ugh. And she says that his penis is big. Or sorry, or first she says that, sorry. I forgot, he had more to say. She said that when they were kind of like kissing, getting to that point, and he kind of pulled his pants down a little bit, and she exclaimed, that's a big penis. I've never seen one so big. I feel seen. I feel so seen. Because that was me with my now partner. That was me. You can't help yourself. You know what I mean? We see one you just haven't seen it big before. You're just like, oh, well, I gotta try that on for size. You know what I mean? And he says, well, then I got on top. I feel seen. And he's like, she was loud. And I was concerned the cops were gonna be called on us or something. And I'm like, fuck. I mean, it's gross because it's them, but maybe I need to insert myself in here so it's more palatable. But anyways. And then production has to use protection. And he's like, no. Well, why not? We didn't bring it up. What? This man is fucking fertile, okay? And you're not gonna make sure that you're protected? Jesus. Anyway, then we see Annie. And of course she confirms, yep, we had sex. And yes, he has a big penis. Huge. Lovely. I didn't need to know really. But anyways. You see her picking up an ovulation test. She says that. Which actually, I want to say this. This whole storyline in this episode was so perfect. It was amazing. So I do want to talk about it. So she picks up an ovulation test. She explains what an ovulation test is. Again, for those who don't know, it predicts whether or not you're ovulating. A line, very similarly to a pregnancy test. A line will show up if you're ovulating, and you usually within 24 hours at that point, you're good to go. So she's doing an ovulation test because she wants to make sure that she isn't ovulating. What I didn't know here is that she's actually much older. Well, not much older, but she is older than him. She's 39 or 40. I didn't know this. Or maybe I missed it. I didn't know. Anyways, not that it matters. She can still ovulate. So, but yeah. She goes back home and she does the test. The test shows a faint line, but she's still not really relieved with this. So she decides maybe I should take the morning after pill just to calm myself down, which again is so incredible. Morning after pill is something that I feel is not discussed enough in these types of shows. And I mean, the morning after pill is something I haven't used in many, many years now, but I have used morning after pill. So it's incredible. So morning after pill, she explains again. I'll explain it here just because I think it's incredible. Morning after pill / plan B pill is a pill that you take that delays your ovulation, and you usually have to take it within 24 hours to 72 hours after having sex. The sooner the better. So that's what it does. So she says that she wants to get this pill. And she's like, I'll call Kyle to see if he can pick some up for me. And again, I can't remember how many pills it is. Is it 1 or 2? I can't remember. Is it just 1? It's been so long. Like, it's probably, I don't think I ever took the morning after pill with my current, which is like 7 years now. So I definitely did with my ex though. So it's probably been about 10 years, more than that, like 11 years since I've taken morning after pill. So I can't even remember if it's like 1 or 2, but anyways. So she does call him and she says, yeah, so I did the ovulation test. It is faint. And he says, well, then you're not ovulating. She's like, yeah, but I know I would feel better if I could take the morning after pill just to be sure. And he says, why? I mean, that's weird. I mean, I am, after all, a donor. Like, I try to get people pregnant, not get them pregnant. You know what I mean? This is weird. And she's like, yeah, but I'm not one of your recipients. I'm supposed to be your girlfriend. I don't want to get pregnant right now. So, can you just pick it up for me? And he's like, well, you're not ovulating though. Like, the line was faint. You're not ovulating, and you are older. So, you're not ovulating. And you're like, can you just pick up the pills for me? And we can talk about this later. And she's very disappointed in the fact that he's not respecting her choice here to properly make sure that she's not going to get pregnant, just to give her that peace of mind. And I 1,000% agree with her here. I think she says, this point or a later point, I can't remember, where she's like, you're just trying to control my body and you don't have a right to control my body. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Like, it's different now for me where I'm at in my life currently, but previously, no man fully understands the anxiety that a woman goes through, not knowing if this month is going to happen when you don't want it to happen. No man fully understands that. Because I went through this with my ex too. He wanted to get me pregnant, like even before we started having sex. And I wasn't comfortable with that because I didn't want that. I was 22, starting a new job at that point when I met him. I didn't I was just starting my career at that point. I didn't want to get pregnant yet. I knew I wanted to be a mother, but I knew we had enough time that I didn't want to be pregnant yet. And he didn't respect it because I told him, listen, maybe this is on my part. We didn't use protection. He refused to use protection. And whatever, we did it. But I told him, pull out. He didn't respect that either. And when I decided to go and get the morning after pill, he wasn't happy. You don't get to control me. I didn't want to be pregnant yet. I'm the one that has to carry a child. I'm the one that has to go and raise that child, push a child out, go on mat leave from work. You don't. I do. I did eventually go on birth control, and he also wasn't happy with that. You don't get to control that. It wasn't like Yara. I told him I was going to do it, but I did it because, again, that's my choice. I don't want to be pregnant. So I thought this was incredible because no man fully understands what it's like to have that anxiety of whether or not this month is the month and when you don't want it to be, and what lengths you'll go to make sure that doesn't happen. No man gets it. No man gets it. So fuck Kyle in this moment because it's respect her. But anyways, it's later on. She's cooking. We said we're going over to her place for the first time. And he shows up and he does look empty-handed when he gets there. And she asks him, did you get my pills? And he's like, what? What pills? What are you talking about? And she's like, I asked you to get me the morning after pill. And he's like, well, you took the test, right? It was light, right? Like, it didn't get any darker. And he's like, it would need to be kept getting darker for you to be ovulating. I think it's just not realistic, he says. And he says, with Annie, he's like, I kind of pulled out. I mean, I usually don't pull out, right? Like, I pulled out, kind of. Not really. Because my pull-out game is not really great. Because he doesn't fucking do it. So, maybe a little bit got in there. Yeah. Okay. And this is why she wants the pill. So anyway, he's like, plus you're older. Like, you're not, it's not going to be as easy for you to get pregnant because you're so fucking ancient, And she says, now I can't trust you because I ask you to do one thing and you don't do that. And he's like, well, I know your body. She's like, how do you even know my body when you don't even know me? Good comeback, Annie. He's like, well, I know your body very well. I track your cycles. You do what now? My boyfriend doesn't track my cycles. Who I've been with for years. And who I've had sex with more than once. And who I trust. But this fucker, who she just met, who she just had sex with, who she's not even sure whether or not she wants to be with, is tracking her cycles? What the fuck? But yeah, he says he's tracking her cycles, so you're not ovulating. And she's like, motherfucker, I don't care what the fuck you're doing. And she says he's trying to control my body right now, which is something that, again, especially in the States, is happening. Men, old white men, are trying to control women's bodies. But even outside of that, outside of politics, outside of the issues that are going on, you have men who try to control women's bodies all the fucking time. And we're seeing it here. And it's just, it's so fucking gross. And again, now, is it that he's so damn cheap he doesn't want to pay for the morning after pill? Because I remember the morning after pill isn't, again, it's been 11 years. I don't know how much it costs now. But when I was taking it, it was under $50 still, I think, or just hit $50. I'm not sure. Now, it's not a crazy amount if you get more out of it. But when you're only getting one or two or whatever it is, and it's highway fucking robbery. So I do wonder if he doesn't want to pay for the pills because he's cheap. But you don't need to be ovulating to take the morning after pill. You don't. Just, you can take it to ease your fucking mind. I've done it. I know people who've done it. You just take it, not necessarily because you're ovulating. Honestly, I didn't even know. I knew it prevents you from getting pregnant. I just didn't know the workings of what it was because I just never knew back when I was in my 20s. I didn't care to think about it. And I don't use it now. So it's just something I don't think about anymore. But duh, it makes sense. But that's exactly it. I never thought of it with respect to my ovulation. So I took it, and he's so fucking stupid. He's so stupid. Just get it. Or women, we can't trust men to do the work for us, especially when it comes to something like this, if they are the way they are, you know what I mean? It sucks that you can't fully trust a man to do what you want him to do, but you gotta put life in your own hands, get out there, right? And get your own morning after pill. Fuck Kyle. This was at least an eye-opener for you, but you go and you get it. You still have time. You go out there and you get it. Whether it's tonight or tomorrow, you go get it. Fuck. It was very triggering. I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way. But anyways, that is it for Love in Paradise. I'm so happy I'm getting to see you so much sooner. So yay. But yeah, Love in Paradise. I am getting HEA to you as well. You should. I don't know if I'm going to finish that today for you to get it today, but you'll get it tomorrow. So yeah, next time on, let's talk about threesomes. The fact that he wants to have threesome with Tiffany with her aunt. She's talking to her aunt about threesome with Tiffany, and Tiffany's there. She's like, I'm sorry, what now? We have Alliya telling Shawn she hates open relationships, and Shawn mentions that he has a friend with benefits that he just doesn't want to give up yet. Or ever. And that just goes to show. We'll talk about that next week. Luke is struggling with his trust, or he doesn't trust her, or whatever. And Annie has an ex who she may or may not have had sex with in, somewhat near past. Anyway, we will talk about that next week, but that is it for Love in Paradise.